My parents were artists that came out of the New York 50s, 60s school. They both were involved in the Art Students League, the American Academy, and everything that had to do with artists, which is how they met. I'm Melanie Kahn. I am Emily Mason and Wolf Kahn's daughter. My parents had this real romance of artists chasing artists, and then lived in Italy for 4 years. They got married by the mayor of Venice in 1957. They were deeply, deeply in love. They taught extensively. My dad was an incredibly good extemporaneous speaker. He was just a great teacher and a great art historian, whereas my mom was much more internally processing person. They were yin and yang in that way, but they were also very complementary and compatible in that way. This is the space in my mother's studio where she actually painted. She would often work on things on the floor, which is why this is covered. She had these cat food cans of paints, and she'd tilt the canvas and move it around, and then she'd take a rag and whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. She painted from a core place. My mom's mom was the painter Alice Trumbull Mason. She was a fabulous printmaker, well ahead of her time and her curve, and she was one of the few female artists doing what she was doing at the time. My mother was very influenced by the fact that you could be a female artist. This is Aquifer. My mom thought that this was one of her finest paintings. She doesn't name her paintings ever until they're finished, and she would often pick an Emily Dickinson poem title. She has a famous quote where she said, "Water reflects everything that it sees." To me, this painting is stunning. My mother's art process was quite intuitive. I would say that my dad's was equally intuitive. To watch my dad paint or draw, he just never stopped moving. Hans Hofmann had an art school, and my father felt that he influenced him incredibly. My dad was an exceptionally good portraitist, and he was a very, very good pastel artist. My parents primarily collected work by their friends. My sister calls their art collection an antidote to their own work. And I think that was intentional. You know, they really came home to sort of quiet their minds and surround themselves with very different kind of artwork, but there was no statements being made. Here's the Alice Trumbull Mason, and it's right next to the little Wayne Thiebaud, and there it is next to the little Diebenkorn. The George O'Keeffe was in our living room for my entire childhood. It is actually now in her book, 100 Flowers, and it is unbelievably gorgeous. It was a very special painting, and they knew that, and so they bought it. They collected the work to live with the work and to enjoy the work. This room in my mom's studio represents what she called the wall of friends. Every time you came, there was different friends that she had collected up on the walls. This Mary Cassatt, which was a gift she gave to my dad. This is Picasso, Robert Motherwell, Robert Kulick, who was a very good family friend. Lee Bonacue's box that was part of our family folklore. You could go in and get money right out of it. There's a picture of us. Both of my parents were incredible philanthropists. They were very big believers in artists having time carved out of their lives to just focus on their work. The Wolf Kahn and Emily Mason Foundation was started probably 20 plus years ago with the mission of supporting everything to do with the arts. A lot of art education, a lot of art in marginalized communities. And then there's a second foundation now that incorporates my grandmother. They gave away a lot of money in their lifetime and continue to. They really just believed in giving it away.